For it is written in the book of Psalms, let his habitation become desolate, and let there be no one to live in it. Okay? His office let another take. So Kepha, Peter, is looking into the scripture and finding out, wow, there was some prophetic things, speaking of Judas, who was the 12th apostle, who was a deceiver, who actually sold Yahshua to the priesthood in Jerusalem, the corrupt leaders who actually had Yahshua put to death. And why did they have him put to death? Because he was a threat to their religious position, and they were more loyal to Rome than they were to the scriptures, to the Torah that they said they loved, you know. And so this can easily happen. And you find that in Christianity, you find it in Judaism today. A lot of them, they fly their American flags, they're patriotic to the countries. You go into different houses of worship, and you'll see an American flag, whether it's a Jewish house of worship or a Christian house of worship. They're flying American flags. Now, you know, as the apostle Jacob says, friendship with the world is enmity with God. Whoever makes himself a friend of this world is an enemy of God. So if you are being patriotic towards these nations, flying their flags and symbols, which is an idol, then you know you can trust that the Spirit is not there in those houses of worship. And same way, the Israel religious leaders in the times of Yahshua, they said to Pilate, the governor of Judea, we have no king but Caesar. And so this is what they said. And so, you know, we see here that Judas still had we don't know exactly why he did it, but he fulfilled his role, and he sold Yahshua to them, and they put him to death. They gave him an unjust trial. Verse 21, so one of the men who accompanied us during all the time that the Master Yahshua went in and out among us, beginning from the baptism of John until the day when he was taken up from us, one of these men must become with us a witness to his resurrection. And they put forth toward two, Joseph called Barsabbas, who was surnamed Justus, and Matthias, and they prayed and said, Master, you know, possibly they said Yahweh there, Yahweh, you know who the hearts of men. Yes, Yahweh only knows the hearts of men. Yahweh, you know the hearts of men. Show which one of these two thou hast chosen to take the place of this ministry and apostleship from which Judas turned aside, to go to his own place. And they cast forth lots for them, and the lot fell on Matthias, and he was enrolled with the 11 apostles. So the apostles prayed to Yahweh to show them which one he chose of these two men, and they did a vote. They cast lots, and they chose Matthias. Now, just to be clear here, Yahweh didn't answer them there. They brought forth two men. How can Yahweh be limited to their selection of these two men? Now, these two men were definitely a part of the bride of the Messiah, a part of the heavenly class. Yet, Matthias was chosen by them. Yet you don't even find any real works that Matthias did too much in the scriptures. But over in Acts chapter 9, you find out that Yahshua himself appeared to Shaul, who we also know as Paul, who became Paul the apostle. He was the 12th apostle, selected by the heavenly class, by the heavenly, master Yahshua and his father Yahweh. And this is the one they used to actually teach much of the congregation and to bring out so many things about the Israel of promise and the kingdom of Yahweh, along with the other apostles. So here we have it. Man, even though they were the 11 apostles, they chose their own way. They voted, but yet that wasn't really how the Most High works. He chose Paul himself, and that's it for Acts 1. So Matthias, though he was chosen and is a faithful man and deserves much respect, and the apostles, even though they had their best intentions, they fell short of understanding what Yahweh was going to do. How could they know? And so they were just doing their best, and that's what's great about the scriptures. It shows where man is successful, and it shows where men are lacking sometimes in insight. And so, like it says, it's not for you to know the times nor the hours, or the fixed seasons. The Most High has these things figured out. No one knew exactly when the last days were going to take place. They thought possibly they were living in the last days, and yet here we are 2,000 years later. So we know the end is coming. The end of what? The end of the system. the end of politics, commerce, and religion, the end of the lies, the hate, disease. These are the things the Messiah in his presence is destroying with the breath of his lips, as it says, with the sword that comes out of his mouth. So this is the truth, the good news of the kingdom unto all nations and to all the world. Shalom Aleichem. This is Joseph Israel on Acts chapter 1. Comments and questions, post beneath. I love you, and